A federal court has found that the city of Austin, Texas's law that says that landlords of Airbnb properties that aren't owner occupied were illegal is unconstitutional. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. Are you an aspiring landlord looking to buy your first rental property? Or perhaps you're a small real estate investor with one or two properties and you're trying to move up to the next level. You could use consulting, and I'm offering consulting here through Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. If you're interested, please send me an email at tony@northomahainvestments.com. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and for once, it's coming out of the state of Texas. Now, obviously, Texas is a big state, but it is also supposedly a pro-landlord state. What you have, though, is you have large metropolitan areas, and they can be much more left-leaning, much more progressive, and much more anti-landlord in these places. That's why I tell people, watch out no matter where you're investing, because these things, they can happen to you pretty much anywhere. Now, Austin is known as being the most left-leaning place in the entire state of Texas, and that's probably why they had this law in place in the first place. So they passed this law that basically said that Airbnb landlords, or hosts as they call them — I call them landlords because you're basically functioning as a landlord — but hosts, Airbnb hosts who do not live in their properties, well, it's illegal. It's illegal. The only way you can operate an Airbnb within the city of Austin is if you are an owner occupant. You live in the property and you're renting it out. And that's complete garbage. It is complete garbage. I don't like it. I believe that a property owner has the right to do as they please with the property that they own. I am no expert on short-term rental rules or any of that, right? But to me, that seems like it is unconstitutional. And guess what? That is exactly what the federal judge said. Said, hey, this is not constitutional. This isn't right. This law needs to be, thrown out of the books because you are infringing upon the property owner's rights to do what they want with their properties. So, yeah, this is a good finding, and it might be sufficient to get laws changed throughout the entire country, because I know Austin, Texas is not the only city that has this rule. I know that, okay? There's cities all over the country that have similar laws, and that's in both more, left-leaning and right-leaning states, because the problem is Airbnb has gotten a really bad name, and they've really tried to crack down on it because people feel that it is taking away housing from the people who need the housing. I don't believe that Airbnb is a big enough factor to make a difference, but that's my personal opinion. But there are a lot of people who disagree with me on that. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button. Maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Now, what do you think of laws that are restricting the short-term rentals? I'm just curious what everyone has to say about the short-term rental thing. I have no problems with it. Okay, I believe that a landlord should be able to do whatever they want. The property owner should be able to do whatever they want with their property, within reason, of course. Okay, I'm not talking about running a drug lab out of your properties. Okay, but I am talking about being able to rent it, be it for a single night or for 10 years straight if they want to. Okay, so anyway, let's get into this article. This article is coming from KUT.org, and it says, Federal Court strikes down Austin's short-term rental rules as unconstitutional. Let's get into it. A federal judge ruled this week that Austin's short-term rental ordinance is unconstitutional because it prohibits people from operating a rental like Airbnb if they don't live on the property. A Houston couple who owned property along Lake Austin sued the city in May after being denied a license for short-term rental. A license is needed to operate a short-term rental in Austin. In 2016, the city amended its ordinance to ban short-term rentals that are not owner-occupied from certain residential areas. The ordinance also limits occupancy to no more than 2 adults per bedroom and bans assembly, weddings, bachelorette parties, and other group events between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Yeah, it sounds like they did a big crackdown on Airbnb and other short-term rentals, okay, because obviously they can be problems in certain residential neighborhoods, just like they said, and I wouldn't want a big party house right next to mine. Okay, that would be a nightmare. Just loud, lots of traffic, crazy drunken people doing whatever they want. However, we need to be able to allow this somewhere. We need to have short-term rental landlords, property owners should be able to have the right to do what they want with their properties. If there are problems where, there's noise violations or whatever, well, the city needs to jump in there, fine or cite whoever necessary so that they stop. Or Airbnb itself needs to make sure these people are kicked off of the platform. So basically, what they're trying to do is make it easier for them to, rather than just saying, "Hey, we're going to go after the bad guys," right? They blanket ban everybody. So the 95 to 99%, like I always say, 99% of landlords are good people. They're doing everything right. Well, it's the same with this Airbnb stuff. 99% of the hosts on Airbnb are doing everything right. There's not loud parties, there's not anything going wrong, but that 1%, and then they want to blanket ban everything. And I hate that. I hate that because it punishes people who are doing everything right. It punishes a lot of people, and even the guests, right? They want to rent a property. They don't want to rent a hotel room or whatever. And having a bachelor party isn't going to necessarily mean that it's going to be loud or crazy going on there. It might be five friends sitting in a house, just having some fun and never cause any problem for the neighbors whatsoever. But they put these rules in place, and that means the good landlords get punished because of the actions of a few bad ones. City officials said at the time that they were trying to crack down on the number of short-term rentals, citing the displacement of families because it limits housing stock and the disturbance to neighbors from noise and other issues. Council members had said the rules allowed them to create a distinction between residential properties that are used by homeowners to help generate income and properties that aren't occupied by a homeowner and serve a commercial purpose. The judge ruled the city ordinance violated what is called a dormant commerce clause, which basically says a city can't limit people's ability to make money off their property even if they don't reside there. So, yeah, dormant commerce clause. Keep that in mind if you live in a place where they have similar laws to this, okay? This might be your in to sue the city over its rules, right? And you could just point out this judge's ruling down in Texas and, be like, hey, dormant commerce clause says that, you can't limit what we're trying to do with our property that we own rightfully. I mean, it's just not right. The judge also found the rule was unconstitutionally retroactive under Texas law. When the city passed its new regulations on short term rentals in 2016, it included a phase in ban that would be in place by 2022. That meant all properties would have to follow the new rules, regardless of when they were purchased. But in 2019, a state appeals court ruled the ordinance violated the Texas Constitution because it was trying to retroactively impose laws. Yeah, retroactively impose laws. So place laws on properties that had been functioning under the old set of rules. Basically, you're putting a lot of people out of business. You're putting these property owners out of business. You're destroying them, and I understand why they sued. Imagine here you are, you live, like they were talking about the couple that was suing here. They live in Houston. They own a property in Austin on Lake Austin. It sounds like it's a lake house, right? Lake house is a perfect example of a home that would be used as a vacation rental. And then the city telling you, nope, nope, you can't use this lake house as a vacation rental. Like so dumb. So dumb. I just don't agree with it. It just frustrates me that they would put that sort of rule in place. I mean, imagine going down to California and you have all these beachfront properties. Nope, nope, you can't. And how else are they going to limit it? And that's the real question right there. They could go further. They could go further and be like, well, we don't want rentals at all. Okay, it has to be owner occupied. So if you can tell them that, oh, well, you can't rent this for only a few days at a time, why couldn't you tell people that they couldn't rent it as a year rental or a 2 year rental? I mean, it goes by the exact same principle to me. So I feel like this is a threat against property rights. I feel like this is a threat against landlords being able to have the free enjoyment of the property that they own and being able to do what they want and operate their business. So I'm going to put a link to this article. You can read the entire thing yourself, right? But for now, just keep this case in mind. Keep in mind that, hey, there is some pros to this. There's some cons to short-term rentals, and I understand why people are opposed to them. But how much do we want to restrict the landlord or property owner's rights?